Hi there, everyone. This is Billy Bedlam 66. This is part 2 of the Elisa Lam video. I told you I'd find out as much as I could and get back to you. You know, it's really strange. There's not a whole lot about her, just really a lot of rumor and innuendo. I mean, obviously the girl exists, or did, till she died tragically, but there's just not much on her. There's a number of articles on the internet, but they all seem to reiterate the same thing. They especially concern themselves with the autopsy that said that it failed to determine whether she was killed or died accidentally. They did admit that there was no bruises, no stab wounds, no bullet wounds, so she didn't die violently. This article says they were waiting for the toxicology results, and then the article that's linked down here at the bottom goes to a new article and says that they found no drugs in her system. And I go down this article and there's not really a whole lot here. It just talks about her traveling from British Columbia down here to the United States and to Los Angeles, but other than that there's really nothing. Here's another article from the LA Times. Coroner says drugs not a factor. USA Today, Elisa Lam's death ruled accidental. And then, of course, there is the one theory that's going around that says that she was killed by ghosts. Now, I found a YouTube video about her. Let me go back and find it here real quick on YouTube. I think it is very interesting. I think it was made in China. It does have English subtitles, but it is in Chinese. It's very possible that somebody kind of put things together here and kind of figured out what maybe was going on. Let me find the video here. Oh, here's another thing. There's a little article that popped up on the side here. They did speak about Sony Pictures bought a script to make the story about her death into a movie. I mean, you know, give me a break. We're now going to make money off a tragic girl's death. Give me a break. I mean, you know, make something up, but don't use this poor girl's death. You know, it's like, give me a break. But anyways, here it is. It's called The Journey of Elisa Lam. It's a nice little video. It's a video about 37 minutes long. Elisa Lam is sitting in the bar at the Cecil Hotel having a drink with Elizabeth Short, who died back in the 40s. And of course she doesn't know, you know, that this woman is dead. It's kind of like a play on The Shining, you know, where the caretaker, Jack Nicklaus's character, is having a drink with you know, a dead bartender and such, like, you know, that kind of thing. So it's interesting. Like, it was published on April 4th 2014, and it does have the title in both Chinese and English. So it is a pretty interesting a video if you want to watch it. It's called The Journey of Elisa Lam. So if you want to get on YouTube and look at it, they explain in this video, one of the things that they go on to explain was her strange occurrences at the elevator. And one of the things that they show you is that she was actually, when she's waving her hands around, I don't know if any of you remember that scene in the elevator. You know when she's, well, actually when she's outside the elevator and she's going like this with her hands, in the video they show her like where she's like dancing using her hands, like when you might wave your hands back and forth at somebody as you're waving to music, and that there's a ghost of a young girl there that they're kind of hitting their hands back and forth together. It is a very, very interesting video. I mean, whoever produced it was pretty much looking at what we might be dealing with, and people have a hard time with this. I'm going to play this little bit. It'll come up on the audio, or actually I can mute the audio. You won't be able to see the video, but I'm going to go ahead and play it. I want to get a good look at what they're saying. Okay, yeah, her and this little girl are kind of using their hands to kind of like dance with each other with their hands, and they're kind of waving back and forth. And the girl's obviously in this video, the little girl that they show is obviously dead. When they show the surveillance footage, she's not there, but then when they show it out in the hallway, the little girl is there. It's very spooky. And then all of a sudden Elisa Lam like comes out of this altered state of consciousness and sees that she's dancing with a ghost, and takes off running down the hall. And when she goes to contact another person in the hall to help her, that person is dead too. And then she goes down another hall, and here comes another dead person right at her. And then here she goes again. Now she sees another person here who's dead, and then she turns around and runs back the other way. Like I said, it's a very interesting video. Now I will tell you that I can't find the autopsy report on the internet yet, but according to the Huffington Post that did a article on the autopsy, they said that even though she was naked and found in the bottom of the tank, it is not true that her clothes were not found. The clothes were in the bottom of the tank with her, even though she was naked. First of all, according to the first report by the police chief, that water tank was full of water, and clothes are very light. Even if clothes are soaked, they're going to float. So that's kind of strange that the clothes were on the bottom of the tank with her. Also, another thing is, you have to ask if the tank was actually empty, and the fire department and police chief got it wrong, because her body would have floated to the top. It wouldn't have been found in the bottom. So that's kind of a controversial aspect of it there too, as to why they were thinking that she was found in the bottom of the tank when they claimed that the tank was full of water. That doesn't make any sense. Here towards the end of the video, she falls into the tank, and there are dead bodies in the tank with her. Now, the strange part about this video when they made this was that she actually left the hotel. It doesn't show her dying there. She actually left. And in the video, it actually shows her jumping in the tank with her clothes on, or falling into the tank. It looks like she fell into the tank. Very strange video, obviously. And that's just one video there. There is this other video that was done. Let me see. I have not seen this before. They just popped this one up. Okay, let's take a look here. Let's listen to this guy talk about the video. Okay, nothing really on there. He's just going back over it again and again, the same stuff. It is a very strange video, obviously. It's kind of a neat video because it gives you one aspect of what might be happening. And if we can conclude that, and if we're willing to conclude that ghosts and such like exist, if we're willing to go down that road, maybe this girl was mentally ill, maybe she wasn't, but maybe she was in contact was something that we didn't know, that we don't know about, we can't see or we can't hear. But if they're correct that she's mentally ill, maybe she's tapped into something. Maybe it allows her to tap in. You've got to admit the circumstances surrounding this whole mess are so bizarre, so strange. I don't see how people can just chalk this up to nothing. You know, how they can just say, oh, it's just some girl whacked out and she, you know, fell into a tank and drowned. I mean, think about the oddities surrounding this case. Elisa Lam. If you look at her name backwards, Lam, Elisa, spelled the same way but the words reversed, that is a field test for tuberculosis. And just a couple of days, some sites say a couple of days, other sites say a week or two, but between a couple of days and a week or two after her death, after I think after she was found, but it may have been after she died, because all the news articles have got it screwed up. Even the mainstream media doesn't have it entirely right. There was a tuberculosis outbreak just a couple of blocks away on Skid Row. Also, her death, the way it happened, is very close to a 2005 movie called Dark Water. And in this movie, a woman finds out that a little girl died in this hotel, and you know that she had died in the water tank. It was very interesting. Let me see if I can find that movie. Okay, so we're gonna go up here. Okay, here we go. Alright, Dark Water the movie is a horror thriller directed by Walter Salles, starring Jennifer Connelly and Tim Roth. It is a remake of a 2002 Japanese film of the same name. Alright, let's go down here. The film opens in 1974 as a young girl, Dahlia, stands outside after school in the rain waiting for her mother. Flash forward to 2005, the audience sees a grown-up Dahlia, Jennifer Connelly, in the midst of a bitter mediation with ex-husband Kyle over custody of their daughter, Cecilia. Kyle wants Cecilia to live closer to his apartment in Jersey City, but Dahlia wants to move to Roosevelt Island, where she has found a good school. As it goes down here, Dahlia and Cecilia see apartment at a complex on Roosevelt Island, with just a few blocks from Cecilia's school. During the tour of the building, Cecilia sneaks under the roof, where she finds a Hello Kitty backpack near a large water tank. They leave the bag with Vic, who is the guy who runs the building, and Murray promises Cecilia that she can have it if no one claims it. Cecilia had disliked the apartment, now wants desperately to live there. Soon after moving in, the bedroom ceiling begins to leak dark water. The source is the apartment above, where Rimsky family lived up to a month ago. Dahlia enters 10F and finds it flooded with dark water flowing from every faucet, the walls, and the toilet. She finds a family portrait of the former tenants and a girl Cecilia's age, yada yada yada. Okay, let's see. Okay, it goes down, and she's having all these experiences. Mother and daughter are with this dark water in their apartment and everything, and she begins to hear noises, footsteps going up to the roof. She goes up to the water tank on the roof of the building. She finds Natasha's body floating. Let me see who this Natasha. Oh, the Natasha from earlier. Yeah, that's talked about. Let me see where they talk about her. Oh, a strong bond with an imaginary friend named Natasha. That's right. Okay, I passed that up. Sorry about that. And she sees Natasha's body floating in the water. Dahlia is stunned, and Natasha's eyes snap open. Dahlia screams and closes the hatch. She opens up the hatch again, and Natasha's body is still there. When the police arrive, Vec is arrested for his negligence. He is aware of her body, which was why he refused to fix the water problem plaguing the complex. Um, Dahlia finds out that Natasha's parents had left her behind. Dahlia agrees to move closer to Kyle to share custody with Cecilia. Cecilia is taking a bath. A girl in a hooded bathrobe comes out of the bathroom wanting Dahlia to read to her. When she hears the voices in the bathroom, she realizes that this girl's Natasha. Okay. Natasha or Dahlia rush into the bathroom to save Cecilia. Natasha then locks Cecilia in the shower compartment and holds her underwater. Dahlia pleads with Natasha to let her daughter go. Natasha lets Cecilia go and floods the apartment, causing Dahlia to die from drowning. Her and Natasha's spirit are shown walking down the hallway. Okay, so it's a typical horror movie. You know, if you can find it anywhere, probably get it and look at it. I find these types of things to be too suspicious when you have a death of a girl that almost mimics to the letter a movie made in 2005 and then was originally made in 2002 in Japan. I find that to be very suspicious, and I think it either the Illuminati, as everyone calls them, and you know everyone assumes that the Illuminati is knee-deep involved in Hollywood, you know, you can only conclude that somebody made this happen this way. This didn't come about by coincidence. I think that somebody definitely was pushing this. Somebody wanted this to happen this way as a way of saying, here's what we can do. That's what I'm convinced of, that this was an Illuminati type thing, and the intent here was to flies. The intent here was to send a message, and of course then you had the tuberculosis thing on top of that, which was, you know, spooky as can be. I mean, that just you can't help but feel that, you know, that somebody is trying to tell us something. So I you know, these kinds of things really are bothering. You know, so you know, that's one area. Here's another website they sent me a link to. Elisa Lam mystery, all the hidden stuff you didn't see. Okay. Alrighty, well, thanks to whoever sent this link to me. Okay. Here we go. There is a tuberculosis research center at the University of British Columbia where she was going to school. Very interesting. Wow. Talk about coincidences. Yeah, you can go to the dailypaul.com website and it's article 276169. Okay. Okay, yeah, a lot of this stuff on this website is about the same as what I've already spoken of. Oh, here we go. This article talks about how the Cecil Hotel is in the shape of an E. Wow, that is interesting. Yeah. And then according to this article, if you go into Google Maps and zoom in on the Hotel Cecil, you can see that there's a company registered in the building by the name of the Invisible Light Agency. Wow, that's spooky too. And according to them, the Invisible Light Agency does video effects specializing in light effects and other realities. Whoa, interesting. Okay, the guy that runs this invisible light agency is a man by the name of Anthony V, according to his LinkedIn account, and also he's working as a supervisor at Raytheon Missile Systems. Wow. Interesting. That makes me wonder if this was some type of PSYOPs operation. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, a number of companies have been alleged to not only be involved in mind control, but Satanism. You know, once again, we go back to the Satanism angle of this. You know, are we dealing with a victim of satanic ritual murder here? You know, as you look at these mysteries over the years involving Hollywood celebrities, politicians, you know, people who have come out and spoken of this dark undercurrent in America, these people disappear and they're found murdered in a ritualistic type of scenario, which would make you consider the possibility that these people are being murdered due to satanic reasons, satanic cults and such like. Oh, they're claiming the Chinese are a lot of Chinese people who have been, and this is big in China. The death of this girl. The Chinese websites are reporting that her name, Elisa Lam, translates into blue child or child of blue. Wow. Oh, here we go. We have a witness statement from a person who is staying on the 3rd floor, directly below Elisa Lam's room on the 4th floor, and he said the night that she disappeared, he heard a loud noise like something fell on the floor. Wow. Oh, another witness here said that he was on the 4th floor and his room was next door to Elisa Lam's, and said the police never asked him any questions about her disappearance and death. The article then goes on to state people that didn't want their name used claim that they had seen, and these were long-term residents, not just people staying a couple of days, but long-term residents, saying that they had seen fuzzy moving shadows in the elevator itself. You know, that's pretty interesting. Okay. Some people on the internet have suggested a theory on cloaking, that the person that she was talking to was actually a real person and not somebody she imagined, but we couldn't see it because the person was cloaked. The Huffington Post has an article about a Canadian company that is getting support from the Pentagon to develop cloaking material. Well, that's been around for years. Like stealth fighters, you have to be standing directly underneath them as they pass by to see the new generation stealth fighter, because they have a skin that absorbs light. So I've heard the stories about that before. I don't think cloaking technology is new, and it's not that hard to do. You have to remember that the material on your craft, on your aircraft, helicopter otherwise, has to absorb light, because without light your eyes can't see what it is that's there in the sky. So what happens is they have this light absorbing material, just like the original stealth had radar absorbing material. This is light absorbing material, and that's been in use for years, so that's nothing new. Okay, here we go. Once again, we go back to the Huffington Post, and they talk, and this article is called "The Crowley-Elisa Connection," and they talk about Aleister Crowley, but they were saying that he was staying in a hotel named Cecil Hotel in London. I'm not sure how they're trying to link it, other than they were saying that Aleister Crowley wrote a poem while staying in this hotel called Jephthah, and basically Jephthah was a judge of Israel who burned his daughter Celia as a sacrifice. Well, I remember that, yeah. So I can see how they're trying to link it there. And of course, Sela is an anagram for Elisa. If you rearrange the letters, yeah, you have the name Elisa. That's pretty spooky when you think about it. Let's see what else they're quoting here. Okay, they go down and they get into the whole Crowley thing. And of course they talk about Crowley practicing magical ritualistic magic, that they opened a portal of entry. Well, I can tell you that I've heard enough stories about these portals around the world that I think they do exist. I have no doubts about that. That we deal with these types of things, these portals where something from the other side can get here and we can go there. You go down to what is that place in Arizona? Sedalia, is it? Yeah. And there's supposed to be a portal there. And then, here at the bottom of the article, they go into other anagrams that are found in the Bible. And one of them, here we go, they're saying, the Huffington Post article, they consulted a religious expert, and he said Elisa is a biblical name and means God's promised or God's dedicated. And then they go down to say, they talk about I am seal. I don't know where that's at in this Romans and in chapters of Hebrew, but that's what they're saying. And of course they're saying that's an anagram for Elisa Lam. Oh, I see. When he broke the fourth seal, okay. Oh, I see how they're connecting it, because the fourth rider, the fourth seal, when they break that, yeah. And the horse appeared deathly pale, and its rider was called Plague, and Hades followed at his heels, and they were given authority over a quarter of the earth to kill by sword, by famine, by plague, by wild beasts. Okay, so I see how they're making that connection. Elisa Lam, tuberculosis, the end days plague. That's really getting into a lot of spiritual wickedness there. And the article goes down to, they have quotes from several people who left messages on the Huffington Post website. Seriously, what the blank happened to Elisa Lam? Murder, occult, conspiracy, cover-up to hide the new tuberculosis strain, CIA, mind control, Canadian involvement, social engineering, Illuminati. Huffington Post certainly tried to do some stuff with this. There's no doubt about that. So that's kind of interesting. That's interesting, but it really doesn't. It really doesn't explain how this poor girl got in the water tank. And by the way, the hatches are a little bit bigger than I thought. One article said they were 18 inches, but the later article where they interviewed the firefighters, they were actually 24 inches in diameter. So yeah, she could have gotten down into one of those. But the thing about it was even though the hatches were unlocked, look at where they are in the top of the tanks in the YouTube videos. I mean, man, she was a short girl, 5'6" maybe. Even if she could reach up and grab those they have like little rungs on the tank, but they wouldn't have allowed her to climb all the way up there, because the top rung looks like you would have to set a ladder up against a tank to get it. It was like 10-15 feet above the ground, because the tanks are elevated above the ground. So that doesn't make any sense either. That's really weird. How she managed to get up there onto that tank. So that's really, really strange. Let's see if they've got anything else here. No, they ask about this Anthony V and what his company is doing in that hotel, why they're even there. Okay, here's the thing. In the blog for this article, and this is in the Land of the Blind. In the Land of the Blind is what it's called. WordPress.com. This guy goes into a bunch of this stuff. Wants to know why this company is in this hotel. Goes on down here, not much. Oh, here we go. Somebody left a message here saying that Lisa mentions in a postcard to her friend that something was creeping her out, and I think she said once that she was worried about Mexican and Italian stalkers. She had been involved in covert activities and spy training. I don't know where this person gets that. That's strange. But yeah, yeah, very, very weird. Very, very weird. Okay, so that's all there is there. Let's see. See what else. Okay, here's another link this guy sent me to. It's pretty nice. Whenever I get on Facebook and I ask people to find stuff because I'm busy working and such like, they'll go out and find really yeah, you know, they'll go out and find what I need. So thanks to all of you who went out and found a lot of this stuff. Okay, here we go. This guy says, you'll think this is interesting. He says, I got this off a blog called Web Sleuths. Yeah, I know about that website. And he says, take a look at the woman who was there the night Elisa Lam disappeared. Okay, so we're going to go look at it. Hi, my name's Natalie Davis, and I was a guest at the hotel during the time that Elisa Lam was in the hotel. I had a myriad of paranormal experiences, as well as pictures of the hotel, and also a couple proving that I'm really who I say I am and not an internet troll. I've been having quite a few detailed conversations with someone about this via email, so rather than retyping the thing, I'm going to copy and paste a bunch of things here. Okay, indeed, but yeah, the woman killed in my room was not killed by Unterweger or Ramirez. There have been a lot of mysterious deaths there, and something like 16 suicides in the last 10 years alone, all by jumping. Being a physical science major, I'm quick not to take on an idea that ghosts are killing people, but in this case I just don't know. I really feel it could be possible, not actually physically attacking them, I don't mean, but perhaps influencing their internal thought stream or something. Fellow psychic mind had an internet opinion after watching the video. He felt that the entity could not pass the threshold of the elevator for some reason, and that it was luring Elisa out, and that every time she came back in, more and more mind had to be manipulated. Okay, and then she goes on to say, oh, I'm sure you've heard of the conspiracy theory about Elisa Lam spelled backwards being the name of the TB vaccine. Firstly, it's Lamb's Elisa. Actually, that's not true. It is Lam Elisa spelled with an S, not a Z. And it's not a vaccine, it's actually a test. Okay, let's see what else she... okay. Okay, she goes on to meeting people on the street outside the Cecil Hotel and how creepy they were. I mean, yeah, you're near Skid Row, so you're gonna meet a lot of strange people. Okay, yeah, she goes into the more normal stuff you're gonna encounter there. So that's about it. That's really all there was there. It doesn't look like she has much more. She just talks about her experiences walking around that part of Los Angeles, which is probably not a good idea. Okay. Yeah, she has pictures of the hotel of the inside. It's a really high-scale hotel, at least from the looks of the lobby, but when you get upstairs, it's all cheap paint and doors and stuff. So yeah, that's really strange. So anyways, it looks like that's all they've sent me, and it looks like that's all I have. There's nothing more as far as news articles or anything else, so I just thought that I would do an update and give you what I could, since I promised everybody I would try to do something. So anyways, this is Billy Bedlam 66. That's all I have for now on the Elisa Lam mysterious death. I'll keep searching. I don't know what I'm going to find, but I think I'll try and request the autopsy if I can get it, and maybe even the police report. So anyways, have a good night. We'll see you later. Bye.